Welcome to Canada Hires. We will provide you will huge value, so please subscribe and like this video. When you plan to move to Canada, you will use the Express Entry online system. The Express Entry, launched in 2015, is a simple and fast way to apply for immigration to Canada. Launched by Citizen and Immigration Canada (CIC), it is an online system to manage the application for permanent residency in Canada. If you have the right skill sets, Canada needs you. To qualify for Express Entry to Canada, you will need to meet the requirements for any of the above 4 economic programs. The system will then rank you according to all criteria, and you will be able to see whether you qualify or need to improve your ranking. Some of the things that the Government of Canada looks for are English and/or French language skills, education, work experience, ties to family members in Canada that have been shown to help newcomers prosper in Canada. The top-ranked applications, decided by weekly or biweekly CIC draws, will receive an invitation to apply for permanent residency in Canada. There are 4 different ways to immigrate to Canada through Express Entry. Here is a look at each of them in details. 1. Federal Skilled Worker Program (FSWP) is a program aimed at skilled workers with experience in their relevant fields who wish to immigrate permanently to Canada. Federal Skilled Worker Program, one of the most popular programs in the Express Entry, is designed for those with specific skill sets. You need skilled work experience, language skills, and education, but in order to succeed in your application, you need to qualify for the Express Entry parameters too. The ranking system is based on a 100-point grid, and you need 67 to qualify. Here are the minimum requirements for candidates seeking to apply for the Federal Skilled Worker Program. Skilled work experience. You must have at least 1 year of full-time paid work experience or 1,560 hours in total. These hours can also be fulfilled over a longer period of time, for instance, 15 hours a week for 24 months at a part-time job, or the same full-time workload at more than one job in 12 months. You will receive a minimum of 9 points for 1 year of experience, 2 to 5 years will get you 11 to 13 points, and having more than 6 years of experience, you can get a maximum of 15 points. You can apply for FSWP if you are working in one of the following National Occupation Classification job groups: managerial job, restaurant managers, mine managers, shore captains. In this type of job, lengthy job experience is usually prevalent. Professional job, doctors, dentists, architects. This group is typically workers with a degree from a university in a specific field. Technical job, chefs, plumbers, electricians. For this kind of job, you should be specifically trained, or have a college diploma or a certificate. General requirements for skilled work experience are: it must have occurred in the last 10 years before your application. It must be in the same field as the job you want to use for your application. It must be paid for work. Volunteer work or unpaid internships do not count. Language ability. You can get a maximum of 28 points for your language skills. You will have to work on speaking, listening, reading, and writing. You can either sit for CELPIP, IELTS, or TEF Canada. Education. In the Federal Skilled Worker Program, you can get a maximum of 25 points for your education. If you went to school in Canada, you will need to present your secondary, high school, post-secondary or higher education certificate or diploma. If you have a foreign education, you must have a completed educational credential and obtain a report from an approved agency in Canada showing that your education is equal to a Canadian degree. You get more points if you fulfill any of the following requirements to at least some extent. Younger than 36 years old. Applicants over this age get fewer points. Being older than 47, you get 0 points in this category. For Federal Skilled Worker Program, a job offer from a Canadian employer can get you brownie points. If you have a valid job offer for at least 1 year, you get 10 points. Adaptability, or how well you are likely to settle. Previous study or work experience in Canada, certain types of relatives, or spouses' language proficiency can grant you points under this factor, maximum 10 points. Proof of funds. You will need money to move, and the amount depends on the number of family members you are moving with. Quebec has its own set of rules though, and it's something you should remember. 2. Canadian Experience Class (CEC). The Canadian Experience Class (CEC) is the program for you if you are a skilled worker with work experience obtained in Canada. This is a federal program, and you can apply for it through express entry. The minimum requirements are similar to those of other federal programs. Language ability. To be eligible to apply for the Canadian Experience Class, the candidates are required to take any one of the following IRCC-approved language ability test. IELTS General English Canadian English Language Proficiency Index Program CELPIP Test d'Évaluation de Français TEF Test de Connaissance du Français TCF. Candidates who prove language ability in both English and French can obtain additional points under the Comprehensive Ranking System (CRS). Skilled work experience in Canada. Applicants need to have at least a year of skilled work experience in Canada within the last 3 years before the date of application. The work experience must be either full-time 1 year, 1,560 hours, or an equal amount in part-time of legal work in Canada. Work experience can be in one of the following National Occupation Classification job groups: managerial job, restaurant managers, mine managers, shore captains. Professional job, doctors, dentists, and architects. This group is typically workers with a degree from a university in a specific field. Technical job, chefs, plumbers, and electricians. Working during full-time studies, as well as self-employment, do not count into work experience under this program. Education. There are no requirements for education in the Canadian Experience Class program, but having one will grant you extra points in the ranking system. You will need to get an Educational Credentials Assessment report for your foreign education. Do you think you're eligible for the Canadian Experience Class (CEC) program? Apply for permanent Canadian residence if you are qualified in a skilled trade. 3. Federal Skilled Trades Program (FSTP). If you cannot qualify to get through the Federal Skilled Workers Program, do not worry. Canada requires different skill sets, so if you are adept at a trade, you might be able to immigrate as well through the Federal Skilled Trades Program. You can apply for permanent Canada residence with Federal Skilled Trades Program if you are qualified in a skilled trade, can become economically established in Canada, intend to reside in a province other than Quebec. When can you qualify under the Federal Skilled Trades Program? Skilled trades eligible for the Federal Skilled Trades Program (FSTP) fall under the following groups according to the Canadian National Occupational Classification (NOC). Industrial, electrical and construction trades, maintenance and equipment operation trades, supervisors and technical jobs in natural resources, agriculture, and related production processing, manufacturing and utility supervisors and central control operators, chefs and cooks, butchers and bakers. Requirements for the Federal Skilled Trades Program. You must fulfill the following requirements in order to qualify for the program. Skilled work experience. It is required to have relevant experience in these trades. The applicant must show that they performed the duties listed in the description of the occupation in the NOC. The minimum requirement for the Federal Skilled Trades Program is 2 years (3,120 hours) of full-time work experience at one or more than one job, or 3,120 hours in 4 years of part-time work. This experience must have occurred in your skilled trade during the past 5 years before you apply. Language skills. Applicants must take an approved language test either for English or French. 4 language abilities are tested: speaking, listening, reading, and writing. In order to apply for the program, you must get a minimum score in all 4 abilities. The minimum language score for the Federal Skilled Trades Program is lower than that of the Federal Skilled Worker Class. The approved language tests are CELPIP, Canadian English Language Proficiency Index Program, IELTS, International English Language Testing System, TEF Canada, Test d'Évaluation de Français, and TCF Canada, Test de Connaissance du Français. Note that the test results are only valid for 2 years after the certificate is issued, and the results must be valid at the time of application. The special ranking system is applied in case you are unable to complete one or more parts of the test due to a disability. A valid job offer or certificate of qualification. You must either have a valid job offer for at least 1 year of full-time employment or obtain a certificate of qualification. This certificate is issued by a Canadian provincial, territorial or federal authority. You will be assessed by your training, trade experience and skills to decide if you are eligible to write an exam to be certified. Proof of funds. Unless you are able to legally work in Canada, or have a job offer from a Canadian employer, you must provide proof of sufficient funds for you and your family to settle in Canada. The amount of money you need depends on the size of your family, which includes you, your spouse or partner, you and your spouse's dependent children. Do include your spouse and your dependent children even if they are permanent residents or citizens of Canada, or if they are not coming to Canada with you. You can have money in a joint account with your spouse, but it must be readily available to you at any time. The minimum amount you need for a family of one is $12,669, adding about $3,300 for each additional family member. Our experts can help ensure you meet all these requirements before you send in your application for the Federal Skilled Trades Program. Education. Applicants to this program are not required to have an education, but having one will improve your ranking. If you went to school in Canada, present your secondary, high school, post-secondary or higher education certificate or diploma. If you have foreign education, obtain a report from an approved agency in Canada showing that your education is equal to a Canadian certificate, diploma or degree. You must be admissible to Canada. There are different reasons for inadmissibility, such as security, criminal and medical reasons. Your skills will be assessed by different government bodies depending on which province or territory you want to go to. For most provinces, the process consists of verification of work experience, written theory exam, and for some occupations a practical assessment. In some cases, for certain trades under the Federal Skilled Trades Program, applicants are not required to obtain a certification if the employer is satisfied that the uncertified worker has the knowledge and skills expected of him or her, although it can be compulsory for application for a permanent residence. 4. Specific Provincial Nominee Programs (PNP) Provincial Nominee Program. Did you know that if you've been studying in Canada, you have a better chance to get through a provincial nominee program? The PNP program is designed to help provinces get the right talent and skill sets to address any specific labor shortages. Note that for most provinces, you will need to already have stayed in the province or studied there before you will be able to apply for a permanent residency. Each province and territory have specific immigration programs that target certain groups and requirements. How do you apply to a provincial nominee program? Depending on which provincial nominee program stream you're applying to, you can apply using a paper-based process or through the express entry process online. In the paper-based process, you need to be eligible for the requirements of the province you are applying to, then, you submit a paper application, pass a medical exam and get a police check, which is a requirement for everyone regardless of where you plan to live in Canada. Paper-based process takes longer than express entry. In the express entry process, you can either contact provinces first and apply for a nomination and then create an express entry profile, or first create the profile and then apply for nominations through it. Either way, you must meet the requirements of the province or territory and submit an express entry profile. The different PNP programs in Canada. To be nominated by a province or territory, you must follow specific directions provided by each of them. Alberta Immigrant Nominee Program (AINP). You need to have a valid work permit for an eligible occupation, work in an eligible occupation in Alberta, work in an occupation that matches your previous work experience, meet the minimum language requirements, education requirements, high school diploma or equivalent in your country of origin, work experience requirements, a minimum of 12 months full-time work within the past 18 months, have an eligible job offer. British Columbia Provincial Nominee Program (BCPNP). You can apply under different categories according to what you're studying in BC or working. Skilled workers may have work experience from abroad, or may not be required to have prior work experience at all. Entry-level and semi-skilled category applicants need British Columbia work experience. If you recently graduated from a Canadian university, you may not even need any work experience to qualify. Express entry offers a faster way to immigrate to British Columbia. However, in order to apply through this method, you must also qualify for a federal economic immigration program. While you do not require British Columbia work experience, you must have relevant work experience as well as meet other requirements such as education and language. You can also apply for the entrepreneur immigration if you own a business and are able to invest in and actively manage a business in British Columbia. Applicants must have the required personal and investment funds. Manitoba Provincial Nominee Program (MPNP). To apply for the Manitoba PNP, the following minimal requirements should be met. Settlement funds, the recommended minimum amount of money you will need in order to support yourself and your family. Language skills commitment to settle in Manitoba. And if you are applying through express entry, educational credential assessment for education obtained outside of Canada. New Brunswick Provincial Nominee Program (NBPNP). New Brunswick PNP offers different criteria of admission for each type of skilled workers, entrepreneurs, students, etc. You can also apply through express entry, if you meet all of the following criteria. Qualify for the Federal Economic Immigration Program, are currently living and working in New Brunswick, are employed in either a managerial, professional or technical position, have valid language test scores, have an educational credential assessment of education equivalent to Canadian high school diploma. The Newfoundland and Labrador Provincial Nominee Program (NLPNP). You can apply both on paper and online. To be eligible, you need to hold a job or have an offer, possess sufficient settlement funds, and a dedication to permanent settlement in the province. Interestingly, you also get a dedicated immigration officer, something you don't see in other PNP programs. The Northwest Territories Provincial Nominee Program (NTPNP). To apply for permanent residency in Northwest Territories, you need to have a valid job offer, sufficient settlement funds, meet language requirements, and be dedicated to permanent settlement in Northwest Territories. Nova Scotia Nominee Program (NSNP). You can apply for Nova Scotia Express Entry if you qualify for a federal economic immigration program. Nova Scotia nominates applicants according to the province's labor shortage, so skilled workers who possess the skills and experience targeted by Nova Scotia are most likely to be nominated. The criteria can change any time. Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program (OINP). The Ontario INP is similar to all the others but divided into three main streams: employer job offer, human capital, and business. To qualify for the employer job offer category, you need to have a valid job offer or be an international student. Within the human capital category, you can apply either as international graduates for continuing your studies, or apply for Ontario's express entry. Applying for the business category, you must be either an international corporation looking to expand business in Ontario, or an entrepreneur looking to start a business or purchase an existing business in Ontario. Prince Edward's Island Provincial Nominee Program (PEIPNP). There are three main streams that you can apply for Prince Edward's Island PNP: as an entrepreneur, business owner, or a skilled worker. In the frame of skilled worker stream, pay also offers a separate stream for so-called critical workers, which includes jobs requiring only high school education or specific job training, or on-the-job training, cleaning staff, oil field workers. Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program (SINP). There are four categories you can apply to in Saskatchewan INP. Worker point-based ranking system. You can also apply for an in-demand profession. These can change in time. Saskatchewan Experience Program for foreign workers who have work experience in Saskatchewan and wish to obtain permanent residency. Entrepreneur category. Farmer category. Yukon Nominee Program. In Yukon, you can apply to one of the three categories. Skilled worker. You may require to have your foreign work and educational credentials assessed, if your occupation falls under the regulated professions category. Critical impact worker. Express entry. Quebec. Quebec does not offer a provincial nominee program. You can immigrate to Quebec as a skilled worker for a permanent or temporary position, as an entrepreneur, or a student. Applicants are ranked on a point-based grid according to certain criteria: training, experience, age, language skills, job offer, family, and sufficient funds. 5. Family class sponsorship. So, you have obtained your permanent residency in Canada, but you have family members in your country of origin, who require your care. Canada supports and recognizes the importance of family reunification and encourages family sponsorship through its Family Class Sponsorship Program. You can sponsor certain relatives to come to Canada if you meet certain requirements. You must be at least 18 years old, a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident of Canada. You can sponsor your spouse or partner, your dependent children adopted in or outside of Canada, sibling, nephew, niece or grandchild who is under 18 years old, orphaned and not married, other relatives if you do not have a spouse, dependent children, or parents. If you do sponsor your family, make sure that you can financially support them and that they do not need social assistance from the government. To become a sponsor, for instance, you must make a written undertaking to provide financial support for your sponsored family members and to repay any provincial social assistance that your family members get during a certain period of time under the Family Class Sponsorship Program. The period depends on the type of family member you are sponsoring, from 3 years to 20 years, and is different for Quebec. In most cases, there is no income requirement unless you want to sponsor a dependent child who has a dependent child of their own. If you live in Quebec, your income will be assessed by the Quebec Immigration Ministry. Due to cases of so-called green card marriages, regulations for spouse or partner sponsorship have become stricter recently. Some of the red flags of such type of relationship include a very recent marriage certificate, long separation. Nevertheless, immigration officials do take into account any specific cultural and religious practices. As a result, it is best to make your application true to the facts and not try to hide any part of your relationship with your spouse, as this will call for suspicion. You cannot sponsor someone who is inadmissible to Canada due to security, medical, or criminal reasons. What program do you qualify under? Let us know in the comment section. If you would like to move to Canada, you must understand the immigration system and the programs offered. Replay this video until you understand all of the programs and how it works. We hope this video